There is a big difference between coaching on the side, creating free content, running it kind of like a hobby, and building a coaching business that provides you with a full-time income doing what you love. If that's your goal and you are here to learn how to build a coaching business, I'm going to give you the 4 steps that you need to know. Hey, I'm Jenny. I have been an online entrepreneur for over a decade. I've been coaching and creating online courses for 4 of those years, and now I help other coaches, healers, and course creators build aligned, time-rich businesses, scale to 6+ figures, and serve the world with their gifts. If you're driven to do meaningful work in this world, you are in the right place. I have a tried and tested process that works to attract the right clients and get them enrolled into your programs, and this is what I'm going to share with you today. But before I get into the 4 steps to start your coaching business, here's one thing that I need you to know. This is the number one thing that holds people back from actually starting their coaching business. So we're just gonna get it out of the way right here, right now. And that is that you do not need to create your course or build out your entire coaching program curriculum before you launch. And it's actually better that you don't. What I help my clients do and what I've done myself time and time again, this is exactly how I got started, is pre-sell your course or program, which means launching it when it's just an outline and getting people enrolled based on that outline alone. This is called your minimum viable product or your MVP. This is the simplest form of your program or your course that you can sell. The details are going to be filled in as you actually work with your clients, and they're going to help you see what should be part of the program or course. You're going to create it as you go. This is how you create something people actually want and need and will get them results. And this is how you start to lay the groundwork for a solid, sustainable coaching business with consistent income and deep impact. Let me give you an example. My client Visual just sold out his one-on-one coaching program this way and launched it 6 months before he thought he would because he thought he needed that much time to prepare. But by pre-selling it, he was up and running in no time. He started with the end result, which is the end desired transformation of his clients that he wanted to help them achieve. He wanted to help people heal emotional wounds from their childhood and feel whole again. He knew where they were at right now, which is how they were feeling, what they were struggling with, and he knew where they ultimately wanted to be. So he set the length of the program to be 6 weeks. He mapped out a general outline as to the progression that would occur during those 6 weeks, just enough to give people a tangible idea of what to expect in the program if they signed up. And he launched it with the process that I teach. Now, in enrolling his clients, he was upfront about this process. He let them know that, hey, I'm running this program for the first time ever. I'm creating it completely tailored to you. I would love your feedback along the way and a testimonial at the end. And I'd like to offer you a special one-time price to join as being part of my beta program. Now, essentially, this is a win-win. You don't have to waste months creating something that you're not even sure if it's gonna sell. You're in integrity by being completely transparent about the process. Your client gets a special offer to join and a tailored experience, and you walk away with a much better program that's actually informed by your ideal clients and what they actually want and need. And this is how you create a transformational course or program that actually gets people results, by co-creating it with them. This is the mark of a good entrepreneur, someone that listens to their market and responds by creating what they actually need, not assuming that they know what they need, putting offers out in the market randomly, and then wondering why they aren't selling. When you've gone through this process, what's called a validation process, you've created something that you know people actually want and need. You have the base of your signature framework that you can then continue building on, improving, and scaling. And it's this kind of clarity and iterative process that's going to set you apart. You're not throwing things at the wall hoping that they'll stick. You're being intentional, and there's no better way in my opinion. Now that that's out of the way, you know that you already have everything that you need to start your coaching business, because you don't need to spend months building out a course or a program before you can actually start selling and coaching. Let's get into the 4 steps to start your coaching business. Step number 1 is to pick a niche. Your niche is what you do described in a targeted and specific way so that your ideal clients can find you amongst all of the noise online. The most important thing to understand about online business is people will only buy from you if they trust you. If you're just starting out and you have little to no audience or no client base that already trusts you, then a niche is the best way to build that trust in a short amount of time. Instead of watering down your messaging and speaking to the masses, you can speak directly to your ideal clients in language that they strongly resonate with. Getting targeted gives you the ability to speak to their core values, their goals, their desires, the problems and struggles that they're experiencing that are unique to them. And this is how you build trust. This is how you build connection. This is how they realize that you are the coach they need to work with, because no one else online gets them like you do. There's an estimated 95 million new posts on Instagram a day alone. So if you're creating very general content, trying to reach and serve everyone, it's going to be hard to stand out and rise above that noise. If someone comes across your Instagram profile for the first time, they should know within the first 5 seconds why they should follow you. And the only way to do this is if you're niche down and you have language in your bio and your content that speaks directly to them. This is the difference between someone coming across your Instagram profile and seeing something like fitness coach for women lose weight with me, and them seeing I help high achieving women get fit and vibrant with vegan meal plans and simple lifestyle tweaks. The more specific you are, the more your ideal clients will know how you can help them right off the bat. You'll filter out the people that aren't your ideal clients and just as strongly attract those people that you are meant to work with. So just like in the example I just gave, if someone isn't vegan, they'll go to another coach, but there's nothing to worry about there because anyone that comes across your profile that is vegan is gonna know right away that they need to follow you because you're speaking directly to their core values. Not only that, but then through your content, which is also niche down, they're gonna start to get real value from you. They're gonna start to trust you, and they're gonna realize that you are the one that they need to work with. When you narrow in on a specific ideal client and you're solving a specific problem for them, you can speak directly to their core values, their current struggles, and their desires. Compare that to if you were trying to speak to anyone and everyone, your content and your messaging has to be more watered down because you have to cater to all kinds of people. So it takes longer for people to realize that you're the coach for them. Now, niching is a controversial topic. To niche or not to niche. Some people feel like it's too limiting and they're afraid to be pigeonholed. And I completely get it. You are a multi-passionate, multifaceted human that has so much to offer the world. You don't want to limit yourself. And I get that. I get not wanting to be boxed in. Trust me, the main core value of my brand is freedom. My signature program is called Full-Time Freedom. I wouldn't recommend niching if I didn't believe that it could actually lead to an expansive life and business. If you're scared to niche down, here are a few things that will really help you see niching in a different way. First of all, niching allows you to go narrow and deep instead of shallow and wide. In other words, you get to really go deep into the things that are really going to create the biggest transformations for your clients instead of staying surface level because you're trying to cater to everyone. I have built 2 6-figure online businesses from scratch, both within the first year of starting out. And the reason I was able to do that was niching. In fact, the more I work with my ideal clients and learn even more about them, the more niche down I want to get, and I do get, because it allows me to develop my expertise and get better at my craft. As I go deeper with my clients, I can help them experience more profound transformation. To me, this is an expansive experience, and this is why I love niching, and I don't see it limiting at all. In fact, it's the opposite of that, especially in the coaching world where you can really create a business that feels authentic and aligned. There's so much flexibility. Now, I'm not saying everyone has to keep niching down as you go. Once you have an audience built up that trusts you, you might decide to go more broad or pivot altogether, but we'll talk about that in a bit. The second thing I want you to know about niching is that you can also include other interests within your niche. So for example, I'm interested in spirituality, but instead of becoming a spiritual coach as well as a business coach or feeling like I have to choose between one or the other, I can be a spiritual business coach. Currently, I don't call myself that because transformational business coach feels more descriptive of what I do, but I do help my clients connect with their calling, use energetics and intuition in their coaching practice, and provide them with spiritual tools to experience more peace and ease and freedom as entrepreneurs. I work with a lot of healers as well. Being a Reiki practitioner myself, I really understand them. So you see that I'm not separating out my interests or forsaking any parts of myself to try to fit it into a box. I'm actually combining all of these things to fit under a main umbrella of business coaching. And in doing so, it's actually making my niche even more targeted, helping me stand out even more to those ideal clients that I want to work with. Because again, I'm speaking their language and I'm speaking directly to them, so it's easy to hear me above the noise of all the other content online. You don't need to pick a forever niche. You just need to pick a right now niche that will help you stand out online and build an audience that trusts you. As you grow and evolve as a coach, your niche is almost guaranteed to shift and change. So for now, there's no point in overthinking it. Once you build an audience that trusts you and you gain traction in your business, you might decide to get even more niche down like I did, or you might get more broad, or you might even pivot altogether to a new niche. But the point is, you don't have to think about any of that right now. You never know where this journey is going to take you, but it won't take you anywhere if you don't start. So just pick something that feels good right now, knowing that it doesn't have to be perfect. You won't be stuck with it forever, and you can change it anytime it feels misaligned. This is your business. You're in control and you're never stuck. Now, before we go on, I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on niching? Does it scare you? Did this change your perspective at all? Let me know in the comments below. Now that you know why you need to pick a niche, let's talk about how to pick a niche. Most people overcomplicate this, but we're going to keep it really simple. Your niche boils down to two things. First, what is the problem that you want to solve? You can also think about this in terms of the transformation you want to help people achieve. And second, who are you solving this problem for? Think about what's important to you, what's aligned with your core values. What's a message that you want to share with the world? What is something you've gone through that you could help other people with? How do you want to help and serve people? If you need some inspiration, I have a video coming up on profitable coaching niches to consider. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel and you don't miss that video, because there'll be a lot of ideas there. There's also a link in the description to sign up for my free workshop, Uncover Your Calling, which guides you through exactly how to find a niche that you're deeply connected to and will help you stand out. Step 2 of starting your coaching business is to set up your systems. I know this sounds boring, but your systems are necessary and important because they are the structure that supports you in your business. Often, again, people overcomplicate this and try to do too much when they're first starting out, like creating a full-blown website, for example, or they find systems and tech overwhelming altogether, so they don't implement anything at all and find themselves doing a lot of admin or background work in their business that they don't need to do and takes them away from their zone of genius. My suggestion is to keep it simple when you're starting and add on as needed as your business grows. So going back to this example of your website, you don't need a full-blown website to start coaching, which is a common misconception. And I've seen people spend months on their website perfecting it, tweaking it, when they could have just launched, brought some income into their business, and when the time is right, invested some of that into their website to make the process easier, maybe by hiring more help with it, or making it even better with better branding, a professional branding shoot, better design. If you do things like this prematurely, they can become distractions from the core of your business, which is just to start coaching. When it comes to systems and structure when you're starting out, here's what I recommend. First, you'll need a professional email address, so hello@yourname.com or yourname@yourbrandname.com if you aren't using your name as the brand and you've decided to call your business something else. So mine is hello@jennypaul.co, or if I was using a brand name, it might be jenny@lifestylecoaching.com. To set this up, you'll buy a domain name from a service like GoDaddy. My domain name is the jennypaul.co part. This is also good to do to just save the domain name for when you are ready to build your website. Once you've bought your domain name, you can then use it to set up your email account. So for this, I like to use Google Workspace because I can set it up and I can use my professional email through Gmail, but I can also use Google Drive to share folders with my clients when I'm actually running my program, which is something we're going to talk about in a bit. If you don't want to use Google Workspace, you can easily and at a lower cost set up your email through GoDaddy, which is the same place that you bought the domain, so it'll be super easy to do. Now, next up, when you're launching your program, you're going to need to do sales calls, otherwise known as discovery calls, clarity calls, or strategy calls, where you're going to connect with your prospective client. You're going to give them some value, some aha moments on the call, and then you'll invite them to join your program at the end. You want to make it super easy for people to book these calls when you're launching your program. So for this, I like to use an appointment setting app called Calendly. They can just book right into your calendar, and you can even ask them a few questions through the booking form on Calendly so that you have some information about them before you actually get on the call. If you want to know more about how to actually run your discovery calls so that they're heart-centered, they're not pushy, but they're effective and they actually help you sell your program, I'll be releasing a video on that very soon, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. Next, you'll need a way to have those discovery calls, which are best done using video so that you can really connect and pick up on nonverbal communication during the call. So for this, I like to use Zoom, which integrates really well with Calendly, so that when someone books a discovery call, they're automatically sent the Zoom details to their email with a calendar invitation as well. Make sure you record these calls in Zoom so that you can go back later and look for ways that you can improve your sales process. As I mentioned, at the end of the call, you're going to invite them to join your program. So again, I'm going to share my process with you in an upcoming video, but you'll need a way for people to actually pay you for your program. So in other words, you're going to need a payment processor, otherwise known as a payment gateway. And for this, I like to use Stripe. Stripe makes it easy to generate invoices and collect payment, set up recurring payments for payment plans, basically do anything you need to do without needing to have a website. Next, you'll need a coaching agreement and a way for your clients to sign that coaching agreement. This agreement sets out mutual expectations, terms, and protects you from liability. And a lot of people miss this, or they don't realize that they even need this, but this has to be signed by both you and the client before you start coaching. Check the link in the description for a template that I created as a trained corporate lawyer, and it's the one that I use myself. Now, you'll need a way for them to sign this agreement electronically, and for that, I like to use DocHub, which gives you 5 free signatures a month. Next, you're going to need a way to actually deliver your program. I use Kajabi to host all of my courses and programs. You can find a link to a trial in the description, but Kajabi is costly and much more than you need when you're first starting out. All you really need to deliver your program is to set up folders that can be shared with your clients. So for this, I like to use Google Drive, which you get extra storage space in if you sign up for Google Workspace, or use something like Dropbox, and you can drop in any content that they need and they can do the same. So make sure you store a copy of your signed coaching agreement in this folder, as well as the recordings of your coaching calls. If you're offering messaging support as part of your program, so chat and voice messaging, I like to use Voxer for that, which is an app that sort of operates like a walkie-talkie. So you can send normal voice notes, but you can also hear when someone's leaving a voice note in real time, which just adds a little bit more connection. Another reason that I like Voxer is because since I'm only using it for coaching, it maintains a boundary between my work and personal life. If I was messaging clients in WhatsApp, and that's also what I use for personal messages, those lines would get blurred. So I only open Voxer at certain times of the day when I'm in that mode to check in and coach my clients. If you want to know if you should add Voxer support to your coaching program, I have a whole podcast episode on this that walks you through this decision. So I'll link that in the description box as well. Now, before we head into step 3, if this video has been helpful for you so far, if you learned something new, please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up so that I can reach more heart-centered coaches that need to get their businesses started and they need to start making their impact. Step 3 to start your coaching business is to create your social media content to start attracting your ideal clients and building relationships with them. Which social media platform should you be on? Which one will actually help you reach your ideal clients? When you're scrolling online, you're gonna hear tons of conflicting information about this, especially right now. It seems like all of them are in this head-to-head competition, copycatting features, trying to one-up each other, which makes it really confusing for us to figure out what we should focus on to build our business. All of the noise might make you feel like you have to be everywhere at once, which just isn't true. Here is my advice. Choose one social media platform as your core platform to build your audience on and gain traction in your business before you expand to other platforms. Pick the platform that feels fun to you, that feels aligned with how you like to create and express yourself, and is also a platform that your ideal clients frequent as well. The truth is, it doesn't matter how hot a platform is at the moment. If you don't enjoy using it, you're not going to be able to create content consistently or express yourself to the fullest. Your energy won't be felt because it'll just feel like something you have to do rather than something you enjoy doing. And that's going to be felt through your content. Your ideal clients won't connect or resonate with it, and you'll find yourself starting to feel burnt out and tired from the process. Whatever platform you choose, find your own rhythm. Pick a schedule that works for you and your lifestyle and go all in. Don't give up if things don't take off right away, and resist the temptation to jump from platform to platform. Now, it's okay to have accounts on all of these other platforms. In fact, you should save your username for when you do decide to expand. But in terms of your core platform, where you're gonna focus your time, focus on one until you have more systems and a team to help you expand onto the others. Otherwise, you're gonna spread yourself too thin and you won't see traction on any of them. Wherever you decide to build, we already discussed making sure that the language in your bio is niched down and speaks directly to your ideal client so that you can build up your audience with more ease than if you were keeping things more general. This is something I help you with in depth in my mentorship program, Full-Time Freedom, specific to your situation, but here are a few general tips that are definitely going to help. On Instagram in particular, you want to include keywords that your ideal client would be searching for to find a coach like you in your bolded name field. This is going to increase your chances of showing up as a top result in their searches. When they find you in search and they come over to your profile to check you out, you want to make sure that they see even more targeted language in your bio with an I help statement similar to the example that I gave before, which was I help high achieving women get fit and vibrant with vegan meal plans and simple lifestyle tweaks. Make sure that they're also seeing targeted, relevant content from you in your recent posts. So if you're saying that you help with vegan meal plans and lifestyle tweaks, in your recent posts, I should see some tips for workouts, some examples of meals, some videos of you demonstrating these lifestyle tweaks. Make sure that it's all congruent so that right away they know they're in the right place and that they need to follow. Don't muddy up your feed with a bunch of really personal or unrelated posts that are just going to confuse them. You can post that stuff, but save it for your stories where we're building more of a connection and nurturing our relationships. Now, when it comes to your content, here's a simple content strategy that I recommend to help you get started. This is just a snippet of what I teach in my program, but you can really take this and run with it. I want you to think of your main content pillars, which are 3 to 5 topics in your niche that you can rotate through to provide value to your ideal client, and again, let them know that they're in the right place. So in our vegan fitness coach example, our content pillars could be meals, workouts, lifestyle changes, mindset, and veganism. Under meals, you could have subtopics like meal planning, quick meals, grocery shopping, and so on. So you can see how you can easily brainstorm lots of topics and content ideas once you have your main 3 to 5 pillars. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna share tips and value within each of these content pillars, and you're gonna rotate through them. Now, another type of content to add to the mix is content about your story. So not only are we providing value, but we're also working in your story as it relates to your niche and building up that personal connection and relatability. So I often share my journey going from burnt out, uninspired corporate lawyer to building my freedom-based business, living in Bali, and just how much my life has changed, my health, my well-being. I share all of the ins and outs and the trials and tribulations that I went through as I was building. And I also share the parts that I know my ideal clients are going to be inspired by because they can see themselves going through a similar journey. Show them what's possible for them. If there's anything that people will remember about you and connect with you on, it's your story. So get vulnerable and don't be afraid to share. Now, the last type of content that I recommend starting to create is social proof. And what I mean by this is if you've already been working with clients and you have testimonials, share those as well as your clients' stories if you have permission to do so. If you don't, you can always share their story or results more generally, and you can skip or black out any personal details so that they can't be identified. So to recap, share value under each of your content pillars, share your story, and share what's called social proof, which are testimonials, client results, and client stories. This is a really simplified version of a content strategy, but simple is the best place to start. So don't overthink your content, just get into the mindset of being of service and build the habit of showing up consistently, whatever that means to you. Your content doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be posted so that people can start to learn from you and see themselves working with you. Now, before we get to the final step, I just want to know that you're still with me. I'd like to know who's committed to making this happen, so drop the word committed in the comments. Now, step number 4 to start your coaching business is to pre-sell your signature offer. And we covered this at the very beginning of this video. So if you had skipped to the tips and you didn't actually watch the intro, make sure you go back and do that. But essentially, you're going to launch your program before it's fully complete or ready, which is called pre-selling it. And you save a ton of time doing this because you're not creating something to its fullest extent, not knowing if people actually want it. It gives you the opportunity to validate your program idea and get feedback from a beta group to make it even better. Now, when I say launch your program, what I mean is that you'll open the doors to your program, you'll open enrollment for a limited time, usually about a week. During that launch week is when you're actually going to be doing your discovery calls and enrolling people into the program. At the end of that week, the doors are going to close. So you'll now start to run your program with the people who signed up as your first beta cohort, and you're going to learn a ton from them on how to keep improving and tweaking. Remember that you're going to learn so much by going through this first run of your program. I started out with my signature course being 4 weeks long. My beta group told me that they felt like they were drinking water out of a fire hose. So the next time I launched, it was 8 weeks, and I broke the content down into more digestible chunks, which really helped. I received so much amazing feedback that I never would have had and helped me to make things so much better. That's what's helped me over time as I keep launching it over and over again. Now, after 4 years of running my signature program, Full-Time Freedom is a 12-week program. I've upgraded the content time and time again. I've changed the name, I've rebranded it, I've added bonuses that help my clients reach their end goal faster, easier, and with more alignment. Now, I have a specific launch process that I teach my clients to help them sell out their programs. What it involves is 4 weeks of pre-launch content before you even get to your launch week. This pre-launch content is specifically designed to warm up your audience so that when you sell to them during your launch week, they already trust you and they're ready to say yes to working with you. Remember that people only buy from you if they trust you. So this warming up process is super important. Otherwise, you're just selling to cold leads, people that don't know you, they don't know why they should work with you, they don't really trust you, and that's just not going to be effective. Now, when you run your program with your first beta cohort, incorporating their feedback and tweaking as you go in direct response to their needs, this is going to create your signature framework, your core curriculum that you're going to use to build and scale your business. So instead of jumping from offer to offer, selling a bunch of low ticket workshops or courses or ebooks, things like that, you're creating a high value, high ticket signature offer that takes people through a process, a transformation, and gets them real results. This is such a strong foundation for your business on both the income and the impact side. Jumping from offer to offer just means you're spending a lot of extra time and energy creating things, but our time and energy is sacred. It should be spent in your zone of genius, which is coaching, not launching and selling. Those are things that we do to support our zone of genius, but they shouldn't become the main focus because we've created a business model that demands that we keep creating new things and we have to start over every time we sell them. A signature offer, just like a niche, lets you go deep and get transformational results for your clients. And this is where the fulfillment comes from. When you really see people's lives changing through the work you do, you will be so motivated to keep going, which is important because entrepreneurship has its ups and downs. We really need to make sure that we're setting foundations that help us weather any storms and keep us motivated. This is why I like to keep things simple and why I recommend starting with a signature offer and scaling that signature offer first before jumping to your next offer. Now, remember that there's a link to Full-Time Freedom, my mentorship program. Again, this walks you through how to create, launch, and scale your signature offer with every single step, templates, everything you need. Even if you're starting from absolute scratch, it helps you nail down your niche, create your content, plus you have instant access to a community to lean on and ask questions to and get support from, which also just helps so much with this journey and keeps you motivated to keep going. The 4 steps to start your coaching business are pick a niche, set up your systems, create your social media content, and pre-sell your signature offer. So what can you take action on today to get the ball rolling, even if you don't feel 100% ready? Drop it in the comments and let me know what you're gonna do. Building a business is really just about commitment. If it's something that you want, it's these little actions that you take daily towards your dreams that add up over time. And before you know it, you'll have your full-blown coaching business. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss my future videos. Or if you're listening on the podcast, make sure you're subscribed there because I have lots of content coming for you to help you build your coaching business. And I will catch you in the next video.